process of increasing in size. A feature that is both individual, intrinsic, and throughout nature.
This is going to be so interesting, you know.
This is the moment we have been waiting for.
I'm feeling it now.
What has come before is now consigned to the history books. This new decade brings new challenges, new rivals, falling giants, and new beginnings.
Bang, bang, bang! 3 shots to the heart.
Oh,
at the back end.
Oh no!
Those who are climbing will meet. Who will fall by the wayside, and who will embody growth.
There's still wheel to wheel!
That is unbelievable.
League of Europe, grow or fade.
How is it going, everyone? Welcome back to the League of Europe. We are here for the final round for you guys for tonight for the PC tier. It has been an amazing first season for the PC guys, and I am very much looking forward to getting this underway. My name is Jake. I'll be taking you guys for the final time for the comms for this evening. Of course, as you can see, we have got 16 drivers in for tonight, and currently we are spectating the one that is actually taking my car for tonight. It is Mr. Pink Panther. You can see that he's just going around on the track on a set of the mediums at the moment. But in case any of you aren't familiar with what the standings are currently looking like, I will just get them up for you guys as well, just so that you are made aware. And as I said, this is the final race for PC for this season, and well, yeah, I suppose we're just going to get straight into it, really. But just so you guys are made aware of what the championship is looking like at the moment. Of course, if you're living a bit under a rock, Mr. Anchor took the championship at USA, so 3 rounds ago now, almost 4. But he is on 336 points. Zadamar is in second, overtaking Jake. He's on 233 points, and he is solidified for P2 in the in the championship. Jake is the one that is in third at the moment. He is on 202 points. He's solidified for third as well. Really, it's sort of fourth. No, it's not even fourth downwards, because Vallejo's in fourth with 135, and he's already sort of solidified there because Dylan Warren isn't racing tonight, and E2's in sixth. So Dylan Warren's on 120 points. He is sitting in P5 with E2 in 6th on 108. The battle for 6th is the one that's really going down. So Bree is 16 points behind him in P7 on 92 points. I'm in 8th with 81, but of course I'm not racing, so I'm sort of out of it. TC in 9th with 69 points, and Coop in 10th with 63 points. That is the top 10 for the standings for this season. As I said, I'm pretty sure the majority of them are all sort of solidified. Really, it's that battle for P6 and P9. Very close together, sort of in the midfield pack as well. V5 in 11th with 47, Graham in 12th with 41, XE in 13th with 40, Sven in 14th with 39. And yeah, it's really just them trying to sort of battle with each other and seeing how they're going to be able to fare on against each other as well. But as I said, we're already in quite a bit into qualifying, almost 5 minutes in already, as you guys can see. And yeah, Vallejo, the one that is currently topping the timesheets, a 106.9 for the McLaren. Jake actually isn't here tonight, so Merckx is the only one in the Williams, and there is a bit of a constructors battle that's going on between the pair of them and the Alfa Romeo. So sorry, the Alfa Romeos and the McLarens. So the McLarens are about, I think it was 10 points up ahead of the Alfa Romeos, and with Frey not being here tonight, this is a massive opportunity for the McLarens to take the win for tonight for the constructors and be the first constructors PC champions. Of course, Mr. Anchor has already, as I said, he's already taken the the drivers championship for PC. It's just the case on the McLarens, the orange papaya cars, are they going to be able to do it? And I'm going to be having a few extra little things for you guys for tonight as well, and I really want to try and get all of these underway for yourselves. So bear with me 1 second. I'm just trying to see if I can get a right one for yourselves, but I'll quickly go through the constructor standings for you guys just so you are made aware. So McLaren are on 368 points. They're the ones that are currently top. Alfa Romeo are the only other ones that can beat them. They are on 361 points. 7 points separate the McLarens and the Alfa Romeo, and this is a massive opportunity for the McLarens, because all they really need to do is just score the 25 points, because it's assumed that Mr. Anchor will more than likely take the win for tonight. All they really need to do is just score the 25 points. They've won the Constructors, essentially. Or as long as they finish with at least 6 more points than the... Excuse me, 6 more points than the Alfa Romeos, then yeah, they will be the first Constructors champions. But as I said, we're now 7 minutes into qualifying. We are riding on board with Merckx, and what I am going to do is I'm going to get this graphic up for you guys, so you can have a look and see it. You see Jake's one there. It's not Jake we're on board with. We are actually on board with Merckx, as you can see on your screens right now. So let's have a look and see how he is going to do. As Mr. Anchor has just set the fastest lap of the race of the qualifying so far, a 106.6 to his name, 0.3 faster than Vallejo in the McLaren. As for maybe top threes as how it goes, it's going to be a bit tight, I reckon. I feel like Mr. Anchor, of course, will take the win. I don't know. I genuinely don't know who's going to be where, because I've seen what V5 can do around here, and he's actually relatively quick, and he was actually keeping up with Zadamar. So yeah, I'm a bit intrigued. I suppose we'll just wait and see how everything sort of goes on. Tixi could also take his way onto the podium. Coop as well, I can already see, has done a 7.1 in 3rd place so far. Only 2 people so far into the 6s, so keep an eye out on those guys as well. There you are, just get that off your guys' screen. So I was going to say, we're going on board with Coop, but he's coming into the pits, and so is Sven. Both of the Red Bulls making their way into the pits. I better get these up for you guys as well. Just at least then we've got all of that on our screen, so you can have a look at who is where. But let's have a look. Who's currently on a lap? I believe, I was going to say the McLaren of Vallejo, but he is not. Zadamar is currently on a lap, and he is purple. So we'll ride on board with the McLaren of Zadamar and see how he fares on in his lap as he's making his way around now uphill and down towards probably one of the easiest places to invalidate on his laps. Does manage to keep it nice and tight through the hairpin as well. Now coming up to probably one of the more trickier corners on the circuit as well. Nice and slowly coming straight out into 3rd gear and keeping that very nicely, getting that nice rotation out of there. 2.5 temps up on his time. That is going to put him up ahead of Coop in P3. But let's have a look. It's just the rundown all the way up towards the line. It's full on flat out. Let's see what the Dutchman is going to do, keeping it as tight as he possibly can up towards the line. Zadamar does a 7.0 and puts it onto P3. So McLaren's both 2nd and 3rd, and this is exactly where they both need to be in order to be able to take the Constructors from the rest of the guys as well. But let's just have a look, see who else is currently on a lap. Let's take a quick gander. I believe Tixi is coming up to the end of his lap, so we'll ride on board with the Renault driver, and we'll see how he does fare on in getting this done. As he manages to go into P2 and do a 6.8, so a good lap from the Finn in the Renault, and just sort of he could be a bit of a factor. Well, he could play a massive part into this Constructors battle, especially if he finishes where he is, and same with Gilzo in P6 as well. I really think that Mr. Anchor could sort of hope that the Renaults behind, the Renaults or the Red Bulls or anything like that, anyone that will be able to stop the 2 McLarens can just do bits. So we'll keep an eye out and see how that is going to fare on. But who else have we got currently on laps at the moment? I believe Merckx is currently on a lap himself, and if I'm pressing the right button, I am hoping I get his one up. I certainly am. So we're right on board with the Williams now, as he's making his way up towards the end of sector 2, just a downhill left-hander and just one more corner to go until it's fully flat out from there. He is 2 temps up on his time as well, so this could put him around where Coop is, maybe just maybe up ahead of him as well, as he's now making his way up towards the final corner now, keeping it as tight as he possibly can, up towards the line. Mercked, he goes and does a 7.2, putting himself up in the P6, just moving himself up 2 places on the grid. Good lap from the Brit, to say the least, as well. And then a few other guys that are making their way out of the pits. I believe E2 is currently on a lap, so we'll keep on board with the Haas driver as well. Oh, as we just for some reason went on board with Gills, I'm not too sure why, but we'll stick on board with the Finn in the Haas. So E2 now making his way up towards the final corner as well. Is he down on his time? No, he's currently up on his time, only just, but his best time so far is a 7.7. So with how he's performed this season, I would expect him to try and improve on that time, well, quite significantly. But making his way up towards the line, the Finn is going to put himself into P10 with a 7.5. Not a bad time at all for him as well. Let's have a look. Who else is on a lap? With Sven. So, in fact, you know what? We'll leave it so that I'll just take everything off on my screen, and we're going to keep on board with a lap with Sven for you guys for tonight. As it turns out, Sven has just made his way into the pits, so he's not happy with that lap, and he is going to maybe try and come in and do one more lap out on maybe on a fresh set of soft tyres. But the two that haven't actually done a lap as of yet are the two Mercedes, as I believe Pink Panther just making his way around the through the final corner and up to the line. He puts himself up in the P8. Both of the racing points pretty close together as well. I think we might be in a little bit of a constructors battle with the Renaults, so up the Pink Panthers, no pun intended. Let's have a look. Bree, right on board with the Maltese man, as he has just started himself on a lap as well. So let's have a look and see what Bree is going to be able to do, as he's just making his way up towards turn 4. No sort of time for him as of yet, so let's have a look and see what he's able to do. So still riding on board with Bree now, as he's just making his way up towards the end of Sector 2, as he just makes his way around up there now and coming up towards the final corner, 51.4 in Sector 2. This is going to put him around sort of where Mercked and Pink Panther are at the moment, so we'll keep on board with the Maltese as he's making his way now up towards the DRS zone. DRS now wide open for him, up towards the line, trying to keep it as tight to the left as he possibly can. Bree putting in the time of a 7.8. So not the time that he would have wanted. And so Bree, a 7.8, he can probably get back to the pits in time and get one more lap done, but he's going to need to do that quickly. So we'll see if he is able to do that. And now we're right on board with our champion, of course. So, let's have a look. What is Mr. Anchor going to be able to do? Mr. Anchor now making his way around turn 4. He's currently purple in Sector 1, and he's decided to stop a lap. Surprisingly. Very, very strange. As Graham just overtaking his teammate for tonight. Graham putting up in the P8 a 0.304 for the Racing Point driver, but Merckx is currently the one that is on a lap at the moment, so I'll ride on board with him and see how he fares on as he's making his way up towards the end of Sector 2 as well. Merckx, I know he's not going to be happy with the lap that he's currently set, so let's have a look. He's a 10th up on his time. It's going to put him up ahead of Coop and could potentially put him in contention up against the Renaults and the McLarens. I just want to say as well, Gilzo splitting the two McLarens, a 7.0 for the Irishman, and now Merckx up towards the line. Is he going to be in contention and splitting any of those guys? 7.1, no he does not. He doesn't even actually end up beating Coop. He stays in his position, a 7.165 for Merckx for this evening. Mr. Anchor, now we're going to go on board with him because he is now going to be starting his lap. So let's have a look at what the Finn is going to be able to do up towards turn 1 now. Nicely done in towards there, keeping it as much as he possibly can. Getting the best turn in for turn 2 and around turn 3, keeping it as tight as he possibly can up towards the end of it. Now in towards turn 4 well, he's 0.125, sorry, 1.127 up on his time, so this could be a low 6. Or yeah, in the low 60s. So let's have a look on what he is able to do, making his way uphill now and coming up towards the probably the slowest part of the track. I think it's that rain. It has started raining, so it means the track's going to get a bit greasier. So that's probably why a lot of guys were getting out and doing their laps ASAP, and Mr. Anchor could have been caught out just on that one. But luckily for him, none of his sort of closest contenders are anywhere near him, as he is still up on his time. So keeping on board with the Finn as he's making his way now around the final corner, as I like to call it, just because all of these ones are other corners. It's just they're all flat out. And now the Finn coming up to the line. Is it an improvement on his time despite the rain? Yes, it is. It is a 10th up on his time. What a lap for our champion on the PC side. If anyone is also wanting a bit more information in regards to maybe on the PC side, that will be coming out over the Christmas period, so make sure you guys are keeping an eye out on that one. Just a little bit of a teaser from me, so make sure you guys are keeping an eye out on that one as Pink Panther puts it into P7, a 157 for the man in the Racing Point. 4 thousandths of a second split him and Coop. So this is where it could make a very interesting race. And Merckx as well, only just behind them. A lot of guys are not going to be able to improve on their time. Zaldemar has already invalidated at turn 2, so no improvement for him. V5 didn't end up actually setting a time in the end, and Bones has invalidated his lap. So really, qualifying's all done, if I'm not mistaken. Unless it's just a bit of a glitch on my side for Bones. But yeah, no, this qualifying is all done. So yeah, Mr. Anchor once again, final race of the season, taking his pole position, reclaiming or showing why he was the champion for this season. Teaksy, I think that might be his highest qualifying position so far, putting it into P2, so a good result for him. And who knows, he could potentially try and challenge Mr. Anchor up front. But again, Mr. Anchor really needs to try and keep that first place, because if he wants any chance of winning Constructors, he really needs to win, and he really needs to hope that the Renaults can do something. So, we'll have to keep an eye out and see how this goes. But I'll run you through the final standings now for qualifying. It is a finish 1, 2, 3. Mr. Anchor on par with Teaksy in second, Vallejo in third, Gilzo in fourth with Zardwa in fifth, Kupke in sixth with Pink Panther in seventh, Merckx in eighth, Graham and E2 rounding out the top 10. Sven gets a free choice attire in P11 with Exy in 12th, Bree in 13th, Bag of Bones in 14th, Imman's Cupid in 15th, and V5 the only one to not set himself a lap time, putting it into P16. But in case you guys are wanting to know what the strategy is, and I'll go through it as well at the beginning of when we're on the formation lap, it really is just quite an easy soft to medium one stop, unless of course it's going to be raining, then you're more than likely going to try and take the mediums up to whenever it rains. But the softs, they can probably go for about 12 to 13 laps. It's looking very, very grey, although I was told it wouldn't rain. It's looking very grey, so it could potentially. But yeah, let's see what any of these guys are going to be able to do. Just waiting for them to get their strategies all done, and then we will be able to get straight on into the final race of the season for the PC tier. So everyone that has watched, to everyone that has signed up, raced, I do obviously thank every single one of you that has done this. I wasn't too sure exactly how it was going to go at the beginning of the season, but it's turned out a lot better than what I expected it was going to originally be. So, as I said, to everyone that has signed up, to everyone that has raced, I do thank you all for that one. And yeah, even just tuning into the stream as well, just giving it a bit more traction for the PC side. Again, I do thank everybody for that as well. But, well, let's have a look and see what we are going to do, or what the guys outside of the top 10 are going to be doing. There's only two guys that have gone for something completely different, and it is both the Mercedes of Brie and V5, both going on a set of mediums at the beginning of the race. As I said, it may not say it in the strategies, but it is quite an easy soft to medium strategy tonight as well. So we'll be expecting all these guys more than likely in the top 10 to go on a set of mediums. From there, really, it's just to see who's going to be able to sort of manage them as best as they can, and as fast as they possibly can as well. So who knows? Who knows? So, are the McLarens going to get the constructors for tonight? Or is it going to be Mr. Anker taking himself to champions? Is the Finn going to be able to do the double? He's got the majority of the points for the Alfa Romeos. There's not any sort of discredit to Frey whatsoever. Unfortunately, he's not here tonight. But Mr. Anker, I mean, considering he's about 336 points or something like that, and in total Alfa Romeo has 361. It's really sort of been Mr. Anker and Frey's just picking up points sort of as and where he can, like a few little points here and there. But really, it's all been about this man that we are riding on board with. And let's see if he's able to get the double, or are the McLaren's going to be able to do enough. At the moment, they are sitting literally on 25 points. So they would have done enough. But let's see if it's going to be enough going in towards the beginning of this race, as we are just now waiting for V5 to line up and we can get this final race underway. So let's have a look. We have now got the 3, 4, 5 red lights. Very, very long hold, but it is lights out and away we go. Mr. Anker and TC both get away very well. It looks like Vallejo might have been caught sleeping on that start. Already down into P5, and both Gilzo and Zardam are both side by side. Gilzo moves up into P3, already up ahead of the McLaren, so it is currently a Renault 2 and 3. And at the moment, Zardam and Vallejo didn't exactly have the start that they wanted. In fact, Vallejo's fallen back behind Coupe K. And now you can see Black Panther also trying to go side by side with Merc in towards turn 4. A little bit of contact between the pair of them. And I think, is that someone that's just gone around? It is Black Panther and Merc that have both gone around, unfortunately. And are we going to be potentially seeing a safety car come out for this one, or maybe even a virtual safety car? But very good getaway for both of the Renaults. It doesn't look as if we're going to get anything. We're already going back underway. But at the moment, Vallejo was the one that has lost out massively. He was definitely caught sleeping, and he too, I want to say, has also made up quite a few places just from that start alone. And same with the two Mercedes, Brie and V5 already up into 10 and 11th. When V5 started at the very back, and you can already see as well, Exy trying to go side by side with V5 in towards the downhill left hand section of the track. V5 of course on those medium tyres, getting past the AlphaTauri, the German of Exy, or the Finn of Exy. I'm not too sure. He did sign up with German, but I think he's Finnish, so very weird one. But V5 and Brie, good job from them so far. 10th and 11th on the set of the mediums. Definitely ones to look out for towards the end of the races. Vallejo and Zardama, I think, just changed positions, unless it's a bit glitched. No, it's definitely a bit glitched. For some reason, the timings, they just never want to seem to get themselves right. But Mr. Anker still does lead the race with TC in second, Gilzo in third, Zardama in fourth, with Coupe K in fifth, Vallejo in sixth, E2 in seventh, Graham in eighth, Sven in ninth, with Brie rounding out that top 10. V5 and 11th, actually picking up the final points so far. Bag of Bones just behind him, his teammate, trying to just maybe worm his way into getting some sort of points for this one. Inbounds Cupid in 14th with Pink Panther and Merckx after their collision on lap 1 in 15th and 16th. For Merckx, in fact, coming into the pits and going on a set of the hards. So he's going to maybe try and take these hards to the end of the race. It's going to be an absolute task for him to do, but if it's conservative enough, and maybe he could maybe hope for like a safety car to come out, so then he could be straight back into all of this as well. But Yeah, Mr. Anchor already a comfortable lead. I think already a second out ahead of Tixi as he sets the fastest lap, a 9.8 to his name. Yeah, almost 1.5 seconds already separates him and Tixi, and Gilzo now starting to close up to the back of his teammates. So we're going to see a bit of a battle going on between the two Renaults for tonight, and maybe Zadama could get himself involved in this one. With no Jake tonight, we could potentially have a new podium sitter of the Irishman of Gilzo, but it's still early days as of yet. And knowing Gilzo, he's a bit of a bottler. I hope he is listening. So, don't bottle this time, because I know what you like. However, at the moment, he's sitting nice and pretty in P3, so he's just getting the help from his teammate as much as he possibly can. So, yeah, a bit of a train that's also forming as well, but V5 looks like he's starting to drop back from his teammate of Bree into P11, and Exy on the charge, and Bones is now joined in with all of this as well. So let's see if Bones is going to be able to maybe get some sort of move done on him, as V5 a little bit of a mistake coming out of the hairpin, and now Exy trying to go side by side and also final corner, trying to do the same thing as what he did last lap and put V5 off, but he does back off from that one. And now Bones, you can see his teammate just having a little bit of a slide, and he could be thinking he might be in for a chance of getting these two as well. Both running low on ERS already, but both him and Exy having DRS as well, as V5 moves towards the inside of the track. Exy now trying to go around the outside. This is for P11. Exy trying to hold that in the inside for turn 2. A little bit of contact between the pair of V5 and Exy. V5 running well off the track. Where's he gone? He's come up behind Exy and Bones. And now Bones trying to go down the inside of his teammate into turn 4. Bones does just back off and allow his teammate just to stay up ahead of him. But look how much ERS they've all got in comparison to each other. V5, by the way, got himself some damage. Now, I don't know whether that was from that what happened in lap 1, or if that was just from that collision with Exy. It didn't look as if it was. I think it might have been through what happened in lap 1. However, V5 with that wing damage is really not going to help him in the longer run, which is probably why Bree have managed to pull a bit of a gap. But Bree at the moment in a little bit of no man's land. 1.7 seconds separates him and Sven, also quite close to the back of Graham in the racing points. So let's have a look. We'll keep on board with the Dutchman of Sven and see how he is going to fare on, and maybe potentially going for an overtake on Graham, not into here but in towards turn 4. So let's ride on board with the Red Bull driver and let's have a look. Because Graham, he's not in DRS of E2. Okay, this battle here is for P8. As you can see, still got a bit of a train going on there for P2. Tixi now 2.1 seconds behind Mr. Anchor, and still no move done for Sven at the moment. So unfortunately, the Dutchman is just going to have to stay behind the Englishman of Graham for now. But you know what, we'll go back on board with this it's not with the battle, with this train that's going on for P2, and we'll stick on board with Zadama here for now, as he's the one that's sort of really trying to chase down these guys that are all up ahead of him. Coop, you can see, it's just behind him in the background with Vallejo as well. E2 is just sort of dropping off from this DRS train, but Tixi doing a very good job at the moment of just keeping his teammate in check and keeping the McLarens at check as well. And just as a little live points update for you guys, Zadama picking himself up 12 points, Vallejo picking himself up 8, that's 20 points. That is still enough to win the Constructors, even if Mr. Anchor picks himself up the fastest lap, which he just has, once again, a 9.7, so he's proven he's really trying to push as much as he can to win this Constructors. All it takes really is just one mistake from the McLarens, and it could really well be see you later to the Constructors for him. But inbounds, Cupid picking himself up a 3-second time penalty as V5 has just been overtaken by Black Panther as well in towards turn 1, but V5 will have the DRS. In fact, we're going to go on board with that battle really quickly as well, as V5 very close to the back of Black Panther now. Is he going to maybe look to go for a move? No, he is not. He's just having to stay behind him for now. Black Panther doing as much as he can just to stay up ahead of V5, but Coupe K a little bit out of shape coming through the the left-hand hairpin. It's very easy to lose traction out of there, and as I say that, he definitely has lost traction. I don't know what's just happened with him. His wheel just looks like he's just turned left. I don't know if his wheel, what's just happened with his wheel or what, but he's all of a sudden going through a right turn, just gone left. So really, that's given a massive opportunity for the McLarens. Now they're sitting on 22 points, whereas Mr. Anchor's on 25 points. So that's still going to be enough for the McLarens to take the Constructors tonight. But the Renaults at the moment, they are doing, they look like just in perfect harmony. Gilzo doesn't look as if he's going to maybe try and overtake his teammate, preserving his ERS quite well, whereas Dan, 20% ERS to his name. Vallejo still has about 65% to be fair to him, as QK is into the pits and possibly going to put on a set of hards to go on the end, to go to the end of the race. He certainly has, but the sky's looking very, very grey. I was told before the race it would not rain, so bit of an interesting one. It might just be the case it will stay overcast for the duration of the race, but already just about to come on to lap 8, and you can already see how much of a gap Mr. Anchor has already pulled out to the two Renaults. Nearly 3 seconds already separating Tixi and Mr. Anchor. And yeah, I know I said it earlier on, I'll say it again though, he's really shown why he was the one that has taken the championship for the PEC tier for this season, and hopefully we'll have some guys that are going to try and contend with him for next season. As I'm going to go on board with this battle here for P7 really quickly, is Sven very close to the back of Graham. This is potentially where we could see an overtake go down. Sven, you can already see it, overtake open. DRS now wide open for the Dutchman, already getting past him before even getting a turn 4 and V5, picking himself up a 3-second time penalty. But Sven now up into P7, 2.5 seconds now separates him and E2, and E2 is starting to catch up to the back of Vallejo, whereas Vallejo is just losing a lot of time to the two Renaults and his teammate up ahead of him, so he could be under a bit of pressure from his fellow Finns soon. We'll keep an eye out and see how that's going to go, but as it stands, they're doing enough, and even if E2 does get past Vallejo, it's still enough. Gilzo, though, he's looking a little bit more attacking on his teammate. He's very close to the back of him now. I wonder if we're going to see maybe a bit of a driver change, or sorry, a position change between the two Renaults. As you can see, Gilzo closing up to the back of Tixi. Tixi's just been driving quite a nice race in P2 so far. Gilzo having a brief look at his teammate, but no any changes done so far. And now Dan, I think he's starting to keep up with those runners now and starting to close in ever so slightly to I think if anything really Tixi and Gilzo, I think they may need to do that change to be able to just I feel like Gilzo might be a little bit quicker than Tixi at the moment, so that's the first time I think I'm ever going to compliment, and the only time I will ever compliment Gilzo for doing this. But yeah, he's driving quite a superb race so far. Yeah, he's just looking like he is a bit quicker than his teammate, although saying that he's lost about 3 tenths to him just through that final sector alone, but with the DRS he'll just catch straight back up to him. And Tixi 51% ERS, Gilzo 43, I think he's just used a little bit to catch back up to his teammate, and very close to the back of him, V5 with another 3-second time penalty. Still no move going to be done for the Irishman. He just has to stay behind him and stay content behind him for now. And we've got a battle here that's going on for P11 here now. Panther with Bones. Bones trying to hold the inside on the Belgian of Black Panther. Black Panther trying to hold it going around the outside. Bones, before he even gets to turn 1, just has to yield the position. And Bones now down into P12. But potentially could be seeing him go for another move in towards turn 4. Although it looks like Panther has built up the gap that he's really needed to be able to just get away from Bones. And now Bones, he's still in a points position, however it is the final points position. So at the moment I also want to just give a shout out. Breeze only 2 seconds behind Graham, and he's done a sublime job so far on the set of medium tyres. So Bree, like I said, he's definitely one we need to keep our eye out for towards the end of the race, because you can, as I said, you can do a medium to soft around here. Take these laps, take these tyres about to lap 22, 23. Take it soft to the end. He's going to be a lot quicker than what those guys are going to be on at the end of the race. So we could very well see Bree up on a podium, but I guess we'll wait and see when it comes towards that time. Almost a third of the way into the race so far. It looks like Mr. Anchor's starting to drop time to Tixi and Gilzo. And Gilzo, I can really see is starting to push his teammate a bit more to the point where he's literally pushing him through these corners. And so far, no one in the top 12, or no one in the points have gotten themselves a penalty at the moment. V5 and Inbounds Cupid, the only two with penalties. But you can't forget that V5 gotten that wing damage, as I said. I don't know whether it's from lap 1 or if it was just from when he had that collision with Exy. It's a bit hard to tell. I know Exy hit him on his right hand side, but the damage of course being on the left where he went off track. May have just hit, slightly tapped the wall again. I am not too sure. But we're just going to keep on board with this battle here for P5 as E2 starting to close up to the back of Vallejo. I think Vallejo, he's really starting to drop pace on these tyres, and I might be assuming that the Finn could be pitting this lap. He doesn't. He does actually stay out indeed. And for anyone wondering in regards to like going for an undercut or anything like that, I wouldn't really say the undercut is anything too special around here. The soft to medium, it works quite well. Maybe doing like an undercut from the soft to the medium. The only problem is that you'll just be risking your tyres towards the end of the race with the potential puncture territory. As you can see, E2 very low on ERS, but is very close to the back of Vallejo. Vallejo, to be fair to him, still has about 30% ERS compared to where E2 only has about 10% in his tank. But he's very, very close to the back of the McLaren driver, and we could potentially be seeing a bit of a finished rivalry going on between these two. They've had quite a few battles all season long, and I can tell you now this will not be their last battle. I already know it. So we'll keep an eye on these guys and see how they will fare on in towards the end of the race. As you can see, Merckx picking himself up a 3-second time penalty. Very unfortunate for him because he looked like he had a good start, and I think just where he had that collision with Panther at into turn 4, I think it's just, yeah, well, it's completely ruined his race. He's down in 15th now on a set of the hards. He won't be able to sort of undercut any of these guys. Maybe a couple guys he could potentially jump, but yeah, I wouldn't really say he's going to be able to jump them as well, quite well as such. But pit window now open for the guys that are on a set of the softs to maybe go on a set of the hards. But if you want to go on a set of the mediums, I believe you need to pit in about 2 to 3 laps time. So we'll keep an eye out and see when these guys are all going to be making their way into the pits. And just a word on Tixi and Mr. Anchor. Mr. Anchor a little bit further up ahead of Tixi now, just started keeping a gap at around 3.5 seconds. And Mr. Anchor using up quite a bit of his ERS as well. So it's not as if he's not pushing, because you can see he is definitely pushing. So they might be feeling a little bit under pressure. If he picks himself up a penalty, then it definitely could put him under some quite a bit of pressure. But Gilzo still closing up to the back of his teammate. Still can't find a way past his teammate. I don't know if he's just sitting behind him, just making sure he's going to be able to get any sort of penalties to his name. But him and Mr. Anchor, the first ones into the pits. Are we going to be seeing these guys going on a set of the hards? Surely not. I can see Gilzo's yellow wall tyres. Mr. Anchor has gone on a set of the hards. Which is very surprising to me, I must admit. But he's going to come out around where Bree is at the moment. You can see Bree coming through turn 3. Mr. Anchor on the inside of turn 3. There goes Bree on your screen. So Bree, a little bit of defending he's going to need to do. But Gilzo and his ex-teammate of Black Panther, they're going to be side by side coming out of here now as well. And Black Panther just trying to pick up as much toe as he possibly can from the Irishman. But Gilzo, I think getting that DRS from his teammate previously, just managed to get that open and just keep up ahead of the racing point. I am very surprised Mr. Anchor went on a set of the hards. I don't know whether he meant to or what, to be completely honest with you. As Inbounds Cupid makes his way into the pits, putting on a set of the hards himself as well. This is very confusing to me, because I know that the strategy here is the softer medium. So I'm very surprised that guys are putting on a set of the hard tyres as Dan's now into the pits. We'll see what the Dutchman's going to be able to go on, as E2 still close to the back of the other McLaren. E2 not close enough to get any sort of move done, but in towards turn 4, you've got to think Vallejo could potentially be moving position, and same with E2. So let's have a look. E2 now, DRS wide open, overtake on as well. Vallejo, I think, using his overtake just to make sure he stays up ahead, but E2 not going to be close enough to get any sort of move done, so has to stay behind Vallejo for now. And you can see how much of an undercut Like, it helps. Look at that. Gilzo, 2 seconds now up ahead of Dan, when Dan was literally only 6 tenths behind him. And now Bree and Mr. Anchor both side by side. A little bit of contact between the pair of them, but Mr. Anchor getting that move done on the Mercedes of Bree. So into P4 goes our champion. And now 7.5 seconds separates him and the guys that, oh, well, and E2 on a set of the softs. Of course, E2, Vallejo and Tixi all still needing to pit, as well as Bree and V5. All of those guys will still need to pit. After that, I don't think anybody else will need to make any sort of pit stops. Maybe, just maybe Mercked. But, well, we'll have to keep an eye out and see how that is going to go as well. So let's have a look. Both Tixi and Vallejo have actually made their way into the pits. However, E2 did not. So E2, I'm not too sure why he hasn't made his way into the pits. But Tixi and Vallejo on a set of the medium tyres. So Mr. Anchor will be inheriting that net race lead. Bree just keeping in his DRS for now. Managing to keep up with our champion. So Bree, especially with Mr. Anchor not having too much ERS, Bree to his name as well, not too much ERS. E2 picking himself up a 3-second time penalty, so that's going to hurt him towards the end of the race, especially if everybody else behind him or was ahead of him have gone for an undercut on him. I expect him to come up maybe around even where Sven is at the moment, because those soft tyres are going to be absolutely dead. So let's have a look. Is the Finn of E2 going to make his way into the pits now? I'm assuming so. To take these mediums 20 laps. Yep, into the pits comes E2. So let's have a look and see. He's definitely going to be going on a set of mediums. It's just dependent on where he's going to come out. Bree, the only other one, along with V5, yet to make a pit stop. And when Bree comes out of the pits, he might even be around where Sven is. So if he is, Bree really is still within a shout of getting himself a podium for tonight. It's also just dependent on penalties for him as well. But Gilzo has actually also managed to jump his teammate of Tixi. So Gilzo now in a net second position. As I believe, is that Bag of Bones that's gone round? It is. He's gone round at the final corner. And he's also gone on a set of the hards, interestingly, as well. Ah, he's got himself wing damage. Front right end plate damage. I don't know if he's done that just now or what, but front wing damage for Bag of Bones. He was running in the points, unfortunately now out of the points. Is V5 coming in the pit, just coming out of the pit, shall I say, and he's on another set of the medium. So V5 going for a bit of a 2-stop. Oh, and he's just smashed his wing on the exit of the pit lane. Knowing V5, he's not going to be too happy with that. Definitely not going to be too happy with that at all. But Gilzo now close to the back of Bree. Might even try and go for a moving towards turn 1. Let's have a look. DRS wide open. Bree running out of VRS, as you can see on your screen. But Gilzo, no, not close enough to get any sort of move done on the Maltese man. So the Irishman just going to have to stay behind him for now. But it looks like he's got a much better exit than what Bree has out of turn 2. Coming in towards turn 3. V5, another 3-second time penalty. Bree, you can see his DRS light has just come on. And now DRS overtake open for the Irishman. Bree just has to stay behind him for now. And Bree now down at a P3. I assume Bree's probably going to come into the pits around lap 20, lap 21. And go on a softs to the end of the race. But at the moment, Bree, this could all really sort of help the likes of Zadama and Vallejo for the constructors. Bree could be playing a massive part into this at the moment, as he is doing his best holding up Tixi, but he really needs to try and make sure he gets himself DRS in order to keep up with Gilzo, otherwise he's just going to be a sitting duck on the straight. And at the moment, Gilzo, he's already done a sublime job of getting himself out of that 1-second gap from him and Bree. Bree, I don't think he's going to have any DRS. Tixi's now very close to the back of him. You can see his DRS light is coming back on once again. Bree, a bit of a sitting duck, like I said, in the straight. Tixi going around the outside, DRS wide open for him. Very easy manoeuvre for him, and up into P3. Bree down into 4th position, as Black Panther very close to the other AlphaTauri now of Exi. So let's have a look and see. Is the Belgian going to be able to get a move done on Exi? Let's have a look. DRS and overtake on for him now as Exi moves towards the inside line, in towards turn 1. Black Panther going around the outside. I think already gotten that move done before even getting in towards turn 1. A bit of a lock up from him, but gotten the move done nonetheless. And now Black Panther up in the 10th. Next one he's got to get past is his teammate of Graham, and Graham is starting to close up to the back of Sven actually. So Graham not out of this entirely for maybe having a battle with for P8 as well, getting himself at least 5 points for the Racing Point team. But this battle here is really the one that we're going to need to keep our eye out on. It's the two Renaults that are having their battle here for P2, as Gilzo doing a very good job at the moment. This will be his highest finishing position of the season, a P2 for the Irishman. This could be a very good result, probably the best result for Ireland so far this season, for this race as well. And no, we do not count Mark. Let's have a look. We've got a few yellows going on. Was that V5? Because it looked like Bones just quite easily got past him in V5. Already 1.5 seconds behind him. I think that was V5. Has he gotten any more wing damage or anything like that? I'm honestly not too sure. But I won't be surprised if we see V5 make a pit stop. Possibly very, very shortly. So we keep our eye out on that one. There's about a 3-second time penalty. V5, another 3-second time penalty for him. He must be on about 12 seconds. 18 seconds. Okay, I wasn't expecting that, I'm not going to lie. But V5, 18 seconds of penalties. He could be coming quite close to disqualification. Here we go, a bit of an XL rivalry going on. Bree, I don't think he's going to try and hold him up for too long. I don't know though. Let's have a look. Bree, Zadama side by side. Bree just trying to hold it around the outside of him. He's technically still battling him because he's still going to need a pit. And he's going to need to try and make that place back up as Zadama past the Maltese man of Breen. Now, Breen looks like he's trying to maybe come back at him. Both running quite low on ERS. Is Breen maybe going to try to go for moving towards turn 4? No, he is not. He has to stay behind the McLaren 4 now. But Zadama, not a good exit at all on Bree. Is he thinking about it? Because he's looking like he could be potentially trying to get some sort of move done as Bree into P5 now. 2.5 seconds separates Zadama and the Renaults, as that is a Mercedes that's gone off. That is V5 at the final corner, and is now just been overtaken by, I believe, inbounds Cupid. Yet you can see that on the bottom left of your screen. So V5 has gone from bad to worse for him for tonight, and very unfortunate for him. I'm really surprised we haven't seen a safety car. There's now the other Mercedes that's done the same thing. And I was on board with it as well. Oh, why did I go on board with that? Bree now down into P7. He had the opportunity of potentially being able to jump Sven in the pit, and now Sven is only 3.5 seconds behind him. And Bree coming into the pits as well. So I feel like it was the smartest decision. I think Bree's tyres were really starting to go off. So Bree now into the pits, chucking on a fresh set of soft tyres. He still could potentially get himself some decent points. However, he's now only going to be in 12th place, as you can see Merck just getting past him now, coming up in towards turn 1. But this battle for the Renaults here for P2, they've been literally locking horns. Gilzo got the advantage on those pit stop phases, but TC 2-lap fresher medium tyres, and to be fair, it can make a massive difference between getting a puncture and not getting a puncture. So we'll keep our eye out on that one. Gilzo still running pretty nice and pretty at the moment though in P2. The two Renaults, I think they're really just doing this just to make sure that they stay up ahead of the McLarens as much as possible. But as it stands, the McLarens will take the constructors. Mr. Anker, unfortunately, he's doing everything he can. As you can see, pumping in fastest lap after fastest lap, but it's not enough for him. As Tixi very, very close to the back of his teammate. I think we're going to be seeing a bit of a Renault rivalry going on here between these two. Gilzo looks like he got a much better exit coming out of turn 2 in comparison to his teammate. However, overtaking now one for Tixi. Gilzo could be a bit of a sitting duck here. Both now going side by side in towards turn 4. Tixi with DRS open as well. I think Gilzo is not going to try and fight that. Just lets him go down the inside. Lets him go straight through into P2. Gilzo just says, see you later. You take that position. I will happily just sit behind you. So TT now into second. Gilzo down into third. And interestingly enough, if one of these two were to pick himself up a penalty as Gilzo, a little bit edgy on, a little bit of oversteer coming through the tight and twisty section of sector 2. But if TC, for example, picks himself up a 3-second time penalty, The only one that is actually really going to jump him is his teammate, because Zaldemar isn't particularly closing up on these guys. He's been sort of edging at around 2.7, 2.8 throughout the entirety of, well, since the pit stop phases. And it just looks like Zaldemar isn't able to catch up to these guys. So, unfortunately, the Dutchman, he could be missing out on a podium for the final race of the season. But it would be a maiden podium for Gilzo for this season. So, Gilzo, well on for getting himself that first podium. But just look how much Tixi has gotten away from him already. Nearly 0.8 of a second Tixi has gained off of his teammate. So he's done a good job of that so far. And now this is where I was saying another bit of rivalry that can go on. The two Racing Points, Panther and Graham. Panther is going to have that DRS now wide open for him. Overtake on as well. Graham, look how much quicker he is in a straight line just in comparison. Already passed him again once before getting in even into turn 4. A bit of oversteer on the exit though, and Graham potentially was a bit compromised from that as well. So yeah, Graham just has to stay behind Panther for now. No sort of move is going to be done, and so Gilzo as well, nearly out of that DRS from his teammate. He's just managed to keep in within it as well though. So the Irishman, he's going to need to pick up his pace a little bit more, as Gilzo is actually the one that set the fastest lap of the race so far. So I was saying he needs to pick up his pace. He's definitely picked up his pace. But I wonder if Bree's going to be taking that on this lap. Let's have a look. He's 3/10 off on his time in his lap. I'm just watching on board with that lap data at the top right of your screens and seeing if it goes purple or anything like that. But Graham, he's done well to keep up with his teammate, to be fair to him, on this lap. I know he only overtook him on the last lap, or Panther only overtook him on the last lap, but Graham, he's doing a pretty good job at the moment. 5/10 is separating him and his teammate. And I would have thought Black Panther would have gotten well away from Graham already, but it just shows that he unfortunately for him, he hasn't. And Graham, I'm not too sure what is going on with Panther. He's just making quite a few mistakes. He's locking up quite a bit as well. Graham just doing an exceptional job of just keeping up at the moment, especially on harder tyres and older harder tyres. So, well, I don't think that Racing Point rivalry is over and done with as of yet. As you can see, the two Renaults as well, both still locking horns as they've just lapped Mr. Inbounds Cupid, as he's picked himself up a 3-second time penalty as well. But Gilzo, well, he has the fastest lap to his name. Bree, unfortunately, didn't pick up that fastest lap in the end. Just have a look and see what the fastest lap is looking like so far. So 9.4, only just beating out Mr. Anchor's time. Still a relatively quick lap from the Irishman, and you can see how much of a gap they're now pulling to Zaldemar. Look at that. A few laps ago I was saying it was about 2.7. They've already gained a second within about 3 or 4 laps, and they're all on the same tyre. So Zaldemar, unfortunately, not showing the pace that he's had throughout this entire season. Of course, he's sitting second in the championship as well, and I think second is the best he can't try and go for the championship because Mr. Anchor already took that at USA, and Jake not here tonight. No one else is sort of close enough for him to be getting P2. So really, he's doing what he is trying, or he's doing what he can to get that constructors for the PC. As I said, constructors still not been decided yet. And if you miss the start of the stream, 7 points separates the Alfa Romeos and the McLarens. Both of the McLarens are doing exactly what they need to do to win the constructors tonight, which is very unfortunate for Mr. Anchor because he's done an exceptional job of just winning. He's done an exceptional job of winning. Is the only way that I can really sort of put that. But let's have a look. Bree picks himself up a 3-second time penalty. I've also just realised he's quite a bit behind The likes of Coop, the likes of Merckx. Did Bree have a spin? As I said, Zadam, I need to pick up his pace. I think he's listening to the stream. He's just gone and set the fastest lap of the race, and that's even more of a hope for him to be able to clutch that constructors title as well. With him and Vallejo sitting in 4th and 5th with the fastest lap, that's 23 points to their name compared to Mr. Anker's 25. Apologies about that one. Gilzo still only about 8 tenths behind TC. It just seems to be in Sector 2. Well, I think Gilzo must be running a bit of a lower downforce setup, because if you have a look at it, in Sectors 1 and 3, you can really see how much he's gaining on him. Despite having that DRS, he's just gained 3 tenths on the straight just there alone. I know, of course, with DRS it's going to be a massive help to it, but you can just see through the corners, TC just looks like he's a little bit more smoother, a little bit. It just flows a lot easier for him. And hence why he gets away a little bit more in Sector 2, but then just on the straights into Sector 1 and Sector 3, Gilzo just really catches up and capitalises on how much, on his straight line speed. And I think that's really sort of showing us that, and that's how he's managed to keep up with Tixi, and how he's managed to sort of push away the 2 McLarens. I mean, Vallejo is 10 seconds behind him. Behind both of the both of the Renaults, shall I say, and it's looking like the Renaults are going to be the ones that are going to be taking it over the McLaren so far. We've got 7 laps left to go, and you know what? We haven't really ridden on board with Mr. Anker that much for tonight. However, I think we're going to keep off that for now, because Black Panther is starting to catch up to the back of Sven. And I also just want to say, Graham, I've said it earlier on as well, he's still keeping within that DRS of his teammate despite being on harder and older tyres. So Graham, again, he's doing an absolutely exceptional job of keeping up with him as well. Well, let's hope and see if Graham is going to be able to potentially challenge his teammate towards the end of the race. Black Panther really needs to start picking it up as well, and I hope he's listening to the stream. Needs to start picking it up if he wants any chance of being able to finish in P8. Of course, Graham has a penalty to his name, and I also did just see Mr. Anker has just set the fastest lap of the race on the hards, a 109.2. So that's advantage once again back to the Alfa Romeo. However, it's still not enough. 26 to the 22 points of the McLarens. He needs to get 7 points. Really, they need one of the McLarens to make a mistake, as Bones is just the one that's got the yellow flags, just letting the 2 Renaults go, and potentially will be letting Zadama go very shortly. As Merckx now taking a fastest lap point off of Mr. Anker. So Merckx at 8.7, I think that was to his name. And he's really starting to gain up to the back of Bree. We could be sitting a battle here for the final points position as Merckx. 1.2 seconds now separates him and the Mercedes. Yeah, I suppose there's definitely all still to play for, as Gilzo's still very close to the back of his teammate. Like I said, I think Gilzo really is just going to stay behind his teammate for now. And we'll wait and see if Gilzo's going to be able to maybe get past his teammate, if Tixi's just going to do a bit of a Valtteri here and just sort of stay up ahead of him, and then on the final lap just let him back through. But I said Black Panther needs to get past Sven ASAP if he wants any chance of being able to get into 7th and getting some decent points haul. He's doing exactly that. DRS overtaken out open for the Belgian. Sven going defensive on the inside now, going in towards turn 4. Oh, I think a little bit of contact between the pair of them, but still both side by side as well. Sven just shoves Panther off, but a little bit of contact between them as well. Still a bit of wheel bang going on. Black Panther now trying to go around the outside and have the inside going up the hill. Sven backs off from that, and Panther up into 7th. A little bit of push and shove, but I think that was all just about on the line. And Panther now up into P7, separating him and his teammate is very close to the back of Sven as well. So Sven could be potentially losing out 2 positions from both of the racing points very, very shortly. But this battle with the Renaults here is still going on. I don't know whether it's just a case that Gilzo's not going to overtake him and just stay behind him, or what, to be honest with you, because at the moment Gilzo, he just looks like he's a lot quicker going through Sector 1 and Sector 3. I think they're just sort of going back and forth with each other throughout that. And it looks like another battle that could be occurring again for P5, and I think this could potentially make a bit of a difference. It will definitely give the McLarens a bit more of a scare, as if E2 gets past Vallejo, that's 6 points. That's literally the limit on what the McLarens need to do to win the Constructors tonight. If they drop back one other place, the Alfa Romeos will take the win. Of course, there's still 4 laps left to go of the race, so anything can happen. But I think as it stands, it's just looking like the McLarens are going to take the win for it. It is just looking like it is going to be that way. Yeah, I feel like it is just going to be, as I said, anything can happen. There could be an absolute devastating crash and the safety car comes out. I don't know what can happen. But, yeah, right on board with Graham, Sven and a Black Panther. Of course, this little train that's going on here for P7 with these 3 guys. And there's a bit of a train going on there for P11, Coop, Merckx and Bree. And Merckx very close to the back of Coop, as I've also just seen Bree is now out of the points. So what I thought he could potentially be looking on for a podium, he's unfortunately now out of the points because of that spin he had on the final corner. So very unfortunate for him. But here we go, Merckx. DRS now wide open, and think Coop just trying to hold it down the inside. Coop using his overtake as well, both still side by side. Going in towards turn 1. Oh, a little bit of contact between the pair of them. I think Coop just managing to hold that, and Merckx has to cut the corner a little bit in towards turn 2, but he's going to have a bit of a better run. And now, with those soft compounder tyre, all 3 of them, you can see the ARS lights are now flashing on. Coop doing everything he can to try and stay up ahead, but both still side by side now. Bree just following on these guys as well. Merckx trying to hold it around the outside and towards turn 4. I think Merckx might actually have this move done, although Coop doing everything he can, trying to use as much overtake as he possibly can, just to get that place and retain that place. A little bit of contact between the pair of them, but I think Merckx straight down the inside, a little bit of contact with them, but I think Merckx might have this position. Although Coop, he's doing everything he can on those hards just to hold it. And a little bit of a weave from him, and just covers off a bit of a, I think there's a little bit of a resemblance between Albon and Hamilton right there for yourselves. Ironically, with 3 laps left to go as well. Yeah, I don't think, I don't know. I honestly don't know. That was a bit of a tricky one. Coop just looks like he got a little bit wide on the exit. Or sorry, had a little bit of a moment on the exit, shall I say, and I think Bree just trying to capitalise on that. I don't know if I don't know who I'd say if that was anyone's fault. I don't know. Maybe I might say that could potentially be more towards Bree's fault than Coop's, but I don't know. We'll have to see if anyone does take that to the stewards after the race. But Bree has now managed to get himself back into that points position as Coop actually into the pits, coming out ahead of Bones. You can see Bones just coming through, or coming on to start lap 34, I think it is, for himself. We are now on the penultimate lap, which I didn't even realise because it's gone so very, very quickly. And Mr. Anchor, he's looking like he's going to be able to take the win for tonight. But it's all on these 2 the Papaya McLarens, as E2, I've also just seen, he's dropped back quite significantly from Vallejo. And Black Panther, I don't know what's happened to E2. He must have had a massive moment. He must have had a moment. Which is very odd to see, because E2, the only time, or only couple of times I've seen him really make a massive mistake, I think was Zandvoort, and I think it was, in fact, I think it was only just Zandvoort, to my knowledge. I think it was only just Zandvoort. So, final lap for the final race of the season for the PC tier, and you know what? We'll ride on board with this man. We haven't ridden on board with him much this season, just due to his sheer dominance throughout this league. Yeah. I think he's now going to be on about 361 points to his name, which I think is the most we've ever had in a League of Europe season. like I said, absolute sheer dominance as Black Panther picks himself up a 3-second time penalty. That's going to allow Sven to get himself into P7 now because of it. But, yeah, Mr. Anchor, he's done everything he can. Unfortunately, with his teammate not being here tonight, it's just not enough. Even though he has done as much as he possibly can. Mr. Anchor, he's led pretty much, I think, probably the most amount of laps in this season alone compared to everybody else. But Mr. Anchor, he'll come home and he will finish in first position, 8 seconds up ahead of Tixi in second place. And in third place, his maiden podium of the season, it is Gilzo, as Coop does take the fastest lap of the race at 8.7. Zarma does finish in P4, with Vallejo coming home to finish in P5. And as soon as he crossed that line, the McLarens are your constructor champions for the first season of the PC tier. So Zarma and Vallejo, they've done enough, they've done as much as they can, and they will be taking the Constructors' Championship. E2 will come home to finish 6th. Sven did finish 8th on track, with Black Panther finishing 7th on track, but due to penalties, Sven jumps Black Panther. So Black Panther does finish in 8th, Graham in 9th, Exy rounding out the top 10. Mertz looks like he will come home to finish 11th, and Bree, what could have been for the Maltese man. You see he's got a massive amount of wing damage, so he must have had another moment, but that is his race done. Just 1 point to Maltese's man's name. And what a final race that was for tonight. And yeah, that's all she wrote. So yeah, Mr. Anchor, final race of the season, taking the win. I guess it was expected, to be completely honest. It probably wasn't the margin I was expecting though, only 8.5 seconds up ahead of him. I know it's a short track, so anything can sort of happen with that. But yeah, Mr. Anchor picking up that win for the final race of the season. Tixi, he does come home to finish in P2. Gilzo in third, as I said, his maiden podium for Renault, picking himself up that final podium position. Zarma does finish in 4th, with Vallejo in 5th. E2 in 6th. Sven in 7th, with Black Panther in 8th. Graham finishing in P9. Exy in 10th, with Merck in 11th. Bree getting that final point. Kupke, because he made that pit stop and picking up the fastest lap, there's no point for that. There is no point because he did not finish in the top 12 where he would have needed, where he would have gotten a point for the fastest lap. Because he didn't finish in it, he has had to, well, he's got the fastest lap, but no point for it. So, yeah, unfortunate for him. Bones in 14th, Inbounds Cupid in 15th, and our only one to DNF tonight, unfortunately, was Mr. V5HRL. But that's it for the season, everyone. As I said, that was a good way to end the season. Gilzo picking up his maiden podium, the McLarens picking up the constructors, just doing everything they can to finish 4th and 5th, and that's exactly what they did do. So congratulations to them, congratulations to Gilzo, Tixi, and Mr. Anchor. Of course, Mr. Anchor especially for the absolute incredible season that he has had. Obviously, commiserations to likes of Zarma, Jake, Dylan Warren when he was also racing. All contenders for that as well. But as I said, everyone, that's all she wrote for the PC season for this for this season. Thank you to everyone that has tuned in. Thank you to everyone that has signed up. As I said at the beginning of the stream, to everyone that has raced for this season, everyone that has tuned in. It has been an absolute pleasure. I do hope to see a lot more guys come in for the next season. But yeah, that's all she wrote. Thank you everyone for watching.